In the quiet corners of life, some men walk a path surrounded by silence. Not because they have nothing to say, but because no one is listening. This silence becomes their companion, a shadow that follows them through days and nights. In a world where companionship is celebrated and support is expected, standing alone becomes an unnamed battle. This is the life of a man without a girlfriend, without emotional support, navigating his journey in solitude. He feels the weight of expectations, to be strong, to be unbreakable, to keep moving forward without complaint. But beneath the surface lies a heart that beats, a soul that yearns to be understood. Yet, in this silence, he learns the beauty of self-reliance. He learns to find comfort in his own company and strength in his own voice. He may not have someone waiting for him at home, but he builds a home within himself. He may not have someone to hold his hand, but his hands build dreams. He becomes unstoppable. Not because he is unaffected by loneliness, but because he refuses to be defeated by it. His life is proof that silence is not weakness. It is depth, and solitude is not emptiness. It is space to grow. Every man who walks through life without a companion or support is silently carrying a weight that is often invisible to the world. Society has conditioned him to believe that voicing his struggles is a sign of weakness, so he hides his pain behind forced smiles and quiet stares. His silence becomes a shield, one that protects his dignity but slowly crushes his spirit. While others show their vulnerabilities openly, he is expected to bear his alone, with no room to stumble or fall. His struggle is not just about being alone. It's about being unheard, unseen, and yet expected to keep moving forward with purpose and strength. The quiet tears he sheds at night, the unspoken battles he fights daily, and the loneliness he buries deep in his heart, all become part of a silent war he's learned to fight without ever making a sound. Without a girlfriend or meaningful emotional support, a man often finds himself trapped within the walls of his own mind. He may have endless thoughts, fears, dreams, and heartbreaks, but no one to share them with. Society tells him to man up, to hold it together, to suppress rather than express. So instead of speaking, he stays silent, bottling up emotions that eventually become heavy storms inside. He becomes his own therapist, his own friend, and his own listener. But even the strongest minds can crack under pressure. The craving for someone to say, "I'm here, talk to me," grows stronger with time. Yet he knows that such moments are rare. He learns to swallow his words, bury his feelings, and pretend everything is fine, because showing emotional vulnerability feels like stepping into a world where judgment is quick and compassion is slow. From a young age, men are conditioned to believe that their worth is tied to their strength, resilience, and ability to handle everything alone. The world expects them to be the rock, the unbreakable force that never falters, never cries, and certainly never asks for help. This burden becomes heavier for the man living without a girlfriend or emotional support. He is expected to face loneliness without complaint, to hide his struggles while others openly seek comfort. The pressure to always appear in control, to maintain a strong exterior even when breaking inside, can be suffocating. These expectations do not just shape his actions, but mold his identity, teaching him that showing need or emotion is a flaw, a weakness. As a result, he internalizes his pain, puts on a mask of calm and competence, and forces himself to meet standards that no one should be expected to uphold alone. Living without a girlfriend or strong support system forces a man into a profound journey of self-sufficiency. When moments of crisis hit, whether emotional, financial, or mental, he knows that no one is coming to rescue him. He becomes his own motivator, his own comforter, and sometimes his only friend. This creates a mindset where he learns to depend on himself for every need, be it emotional stability or practical solutions. Every challenge becomes a test of his resourcefulness, and every victory is a hard-earned reward. He develops skills that others take for granted, managing time, handling stress, even celebrating alone. Self-sufficiency becomes less of a choice and more of a necessity, a muscle that grows stronger with every lonely night and every quiet morning. It teaches him accountability and independence, but also isolates him from the kind of shared companionship and support that many effortlessly receive. Solitude pushes a man inward, into the depths of his own thoughts, emotions, and hidden truths. Without someone to share life's daily moments with, his mind becomes both his sanctuary and his mirror. In this silence, he begins to understand who he truly is, stripped of external validation, without the distraction of relationships or constant conversation. He starts to question his goals, beliefs, and values. He learns the art of self-reflection, diving deep into his flaws and strengths, addressing insecurities, and exploring passions he never knew he had time for. This solitude becomes a journey of remarkable inner evolution. It fuels creativity, fosters emotional maturity, and builds a profound understanding of life. Instead of looking outward for answers, he learns to look within, discovering peace in the quiet moments that once felt empty. Standing alone in a world that constantly encourages connection is no small feat. For a man without a girlfriend or support system, isolation becomes not just a circumstance, but a test of character. In these silent stretches of time, he learns a different kind of strength, one that doesn't come from applause, validation, or encouragement, but from surviving his darkest days alone. He becomes the warrior of his own story, weathering internal storms silently and picking himself up each time life knocks him down. Every challenge faced alone becomes a victory of resilience. Isolation teaches him to trust his instincts, handle pressure, and keep moving even when nobody is watching. His strength is not loud or noticeable. It's quiet, enduring, and born from long nights of pushing through doubt and fear. When a man has no one to confide in, he becomes his own emotional manager. There's no hand to hold, no comforting voice to calm his storm. So he learns the art of emotional discipline. Instead of breaking down, he learns to process, analyze, and overcome his feelings internally. Every disappointment becomes a lesson, every setback a test of endurance. He learns to examine his emotions, understand their roots, and build mental walls that protect his peace. This doesn't mean he feels less. It means he has learned to feel and still move forward. Emotional discipline becomes both his shield and his weapon. It keeps him grounded when emotions threaten to overwhelm him, and it sharpens his focus when the world tries to distract or discourage him. In this silent mastery of his feelings, he finds a kind of emotional intelligence that comes not from talking, but from surviving. Without a girlfriend or supportive network, a man learns that life will not hand him meaning or happiness on a silver platter. He must create it himself. Every ambition, every small joy, every success becomes a product of his own effort, his own vision. He begins to shape his environment to reflect his values, dreams, and passions, turning solitude into a canvas for personal growth. Hobbies, routines, and goals become more than distractions. They become the foundation of a life he controls. Instead of waiting for validation or companionship, he finds fulfillment in his own achievements and the life he actively builds. This self-created world teaches him independence, resilience, and purpose, proving that meaning does not always come from others, but from the deliberate choices he makes and the life he designs for himself in the silence of his life. Without a girlfriend or anyone to lean on, a man discovers the power within himself. He learns that strength, growth, and fulfillment do not always come from others. They come from resilience, self-awareness, and the courage to face life alone. His journey is a testament to the human spirit. Even in solitude, he can find purpose, create meaning, and rise stronger every day. Though the world may not notice his struggles, he becomes his own hero, proving that a life lived in silence can still be a life fully lived. A man living without a partner or support quickly realizes that life does not follow his schedule. Decisions take longer, challenges feel heavier, and progress often seems slow. But in this forced pace, he learns patience, a skill often overlooked in comfort. Waiting, observing, and enduring becomes second nature. He discovers that true growth is gradual, and that instant solutions rarely lead to lasting strength. Patience becomes not just a virtue, but a survival tool, shaping his decisions, reactions, and even his mindset toward the future. Key point 10, appreciating small joys. When life offers no constant companionship, small joys take on enormous significance. A sunrise, a hot cup of tea, completing a goal, or a brief moment of laughter becomes a source of comfort and motivation. These tiny victories remind him that happiness doesn't always require someone else's presence. It can be found within life's simplest moments. By appreciating what others might overlook, he cultivates gratitude, mindfulness, and a sense of inner peace. Key point 11, developing mental toughness. Loneliness is a test of endurance without emotional support. A man learns to navigate adversity with mental toughness. Challenges that might overwhelm others become opportunities to sharpen his focus and fortitude. He faces setbacks with grit, learns to embrace discomfort, and pushes forward despite fear or doubt. Over time, this mental resilience becomes his greatest asset, allowing him to handle both internal and external battles with calm determination. Key point 12, mastering self-motivation. Without someone to push him or cheer him on, a man learns the importance of self-motivation. Goals must be pursued for personal satisfaction alone, and success is celebrated internally. He develops the discipline to rise early, work hard, and stay consistent even when progress is slow. This mastery of self-drive ensures that he remains committed to his ambitions, independent of others' approval or recognition. Key point 13, finding freedom in solitude. Though solitude can be lonely, it also brings freedom. Without the expectations of a partner or support system, he is free to make choices entirely on his own terms. His time, energy, and focus belong to him alone, allowing him to explore passions, take risks, and pursue opportunities without compromise. In this freedom, he discovers a sense of autonomy and control that is rare in a world where people are constantly intertwined with each other's needs and opinions. If you want, I can now combine all 13 key points into a complete, highly impactful speech ready for video or presentation format with timestamps, description, keywords, and hashtags. Do you want me to do that? Living in silence forces a man to confront his true self. Without distractions or external validation, he learns to recognize his strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears. This self-awareness becomes a compass for his life decisions, guiding him toward choices that align with his values. He understands what he truly wants and what he can live without, creating clarity that many never achieve while constantly seeking approval from others. Key point 15, learning resilience through failures. Failure is inevitable, but without someone to cushion the blow, a man experiences setbacks in their raw form. Each failure becomes a lesson etched into his character. Over time, he learns to recover faster, adapt better, and face challenges with courage. The repeated cycle of trying, failing, and learning builds resilience that cannot be taught. It can only be earned in solitude. Key point 16, honing independence in daily life. From small daily tasks to major life decisions, independence becomes a survival skill. A man living alone without support learns to cook, manage finances, solve problems, and organize his life without relying on anyone. This independence fosters confidence, discipline, and a sense of control over his destiny. Every task accomplished alone reinforces that he is capable of standing on his own feet. Key point 17, cultivating emotional strength. Emotional strength is more than suppressing feelings, it's learning to face them without crumbling. A man without a girlfriend or support system develops the ability to process emotions rationally, find balance, and maintain composure in difficult situations. This strength allows him to make decisions calmly, handle stress gracefully, and navigate life's uncertainties with steadiness. Key point 18, appreciating true connections. Even if he doesn't have a romantic partner or constant support, living in solitude teaches him the value of authentic relationships. Every genuine conversation, act of kindness, or moment of understanding becomes precious. He learns to distinguish between shallow interactions and meaningful connections, understanding that quality matters far more than quantity when it comes to human bonds. In a world that celebrates companionship, connection, and constant communication, some men walk a path wrapped in silence. Their lives are marked not by loud victories or visible achievements, but by quiet endurance, invisible struggles, and unspoken battles. A man living without a girlfriend or any significant support faces a reality that most cannot comprehend. His journey is one of solitude, yet it is far from empty. It is a life that molds strength, resilience, and self-discovery in ways that only silence can. From the outside, it may seem like his life is easy or uneventful. People rarely see the nights spent grappling with loneliness, the countless thoughts that echo in the absence of a listening ear, or the weight of expectations society places upon him. Men are often told to be strong, to hold it together, and to never show weakness. These words, though seemingly motivating, create invisible chains, forcing him to endure silently, to mask vulnerability, and to walk through life with composure even when his heart aches. Yet in this very silence there is growth. He learns self-sufficiency, becoming his own problem solver, motivator, and confidant. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to build resilience, every failure a lesson in persistence. Living without support teaches him patience. He realizes that progress is often slow. Victories are small, and the most valuable achievements are those that require effort and time. The absence of a partner or a guiding hand compels him to master his emotions. He learns emotional discipline, understanding how to process feelings internally, maintain composure, and continue moving forward, even when the weight of life feels unbearable. Isolation also becomes a space for inner growth. Without distractions, he is forced to confront his own thoughts, recognize his strengths, acknowledge his weaknesses, and explore the deepest desires and fears that often remain hidden in the presence of others. He finds comfort in small joys, a quiet morning, a productive day, a goal achieved, and realizes that happiness does not always require companionship. In fact, solitude becomes a teacher, showing him how to find meaning and purpose within himself. Strength in isolation is not loud or obvious. It is quiet, enduring, and built over years of navigating challenges alone. He develops mental toughness, patience, and independence in ways that those surrounded by constant support may never experience. He learns the importance of self-motivation, pushing forward without validation or encouragement from others. Every task he completes, every obstacle he overcomes, every goal he reaches becomes proof that he can rely on himself and that he is capable of more than he ever imagined. But perhaps the most profound lesson of living in silence is the freedom it brings. Without someone to dictate expectations, he can craft his life according to his own values, passions, and dreams. He learns to appreciate authenticity in relationships, understanding that true connections are rare and precious. In solitude, he also discovers resilience, emotional intelligence, and a profound sense of self-worth that comes not from others, but from the quiet strength of surviving, thriving, and creating meaning on his own. A man's life in silence is not a life of emptiness. It is a life of depth. It is a testament to the human spirit, a story of courage, and a demonstration of the incredible power of self-reliance. Though society may overlook him, though the world may fail to recognize his struggles, he becomes his own hero. Every silent struggle, every quiet victory, every moment of reflection adds layers to his character, forging a man who is not only strong but wise, not only independent but aware, and not only alone but profoundly alive. In the end, living without a girlfriend or support does not define a man's limitations. It defines his strength. His silence is not weakness, it is depth. His solitude is not emptiness, it is growth. And his life, though quiet, becomes a masterpiece of perseverance, courage, and self-discovery. Life for a man without a girlfriend or emotional support is a journey through silence and self-discovery. In a world where companionship is celebrated and people are often surrounded by constant social connections, he walks a path few truly understand. Every day brings the weight of solitude, yet it also brings lessons in strength, resilience, and self-reliance that cannot be learned any other way. The absence of a partner or a support system forces him to navigate life's challenges on his own, shaping him into someone capable of enduring hardships quietly yet powerfully. The first lesson of such a life is silent struggle. The burdens he carries are invisible. Society rarely sees the emotional toll of loneliness, and men are often taught to endure without complaint. Every sleepless night, every unspoken thought, every moment of self-doubt is part of a hidden battle. He learns to endure silently, understanding that strength is not always loud. It is often the quiet act of continuing when no one is watching or offering help. Emotional outlet becomes a rare commodity. With no one to confide in, he learns to manage his feelings alone. Sadness, disappointment, and stress are internalized, forcing him to become both his own therapist and his own friend. He learns to process emotions rationally, finding ways to cope without relying on validation or comfort from others. This internal management of feelings builds emotional resilience that can never be taught. It is earned through experience and endurance. Society's expectations weigh heavily on him. Men are often expected to be unshakable, to bear the weight of life without faltering, and to hide vulnerability at all costs. For a man living alone, these expectations amplify the struggle, creating pressure to constantly maintain an image of composure while dealing with internal battles. It is in meeting these unspoken standards that he develops the kind of mental toughness and perseverance that only solitude can forge. Self-sufficiency becomes a necessity. He learns to solve problems alone, manage his life, and take responsibility for every aspect of his existence. From daily routines to long-term goals, he depends solely on himself. Every challenge overcome reinforces his independence, building confidence and reinforcing the understanding that he can thrive even without external support. Solitude also fosters inner growth. In the absence of constant social interaction, he turns inward, exploring his thoughts, ambitions, and emotions with clarity. He reflects on life, learns from past mistakes, and uncovers hidden strengths. This self-awareness allows him to live intentionally, making choices aligned with his values rather than succumbing to societal pressures or distractions. Strength in isolation emerges as a defining feature of his life. He faces adversity alone, navigating setbacks and hardships without the comfort of companionship. Each trial strengthens his resilience, shaping him into someone capable of confronting challenges calmly and with determination. His power is quiet but unyielding, born of years of navigating life independently. Through emotional discipline, he learns to process feelings constructively, maintaining composure in difficult situations. This discipline allows him to think clearly, act decisively, and avoid being overwhelmed by fleeting emotions. It cultivates a stability that many with constant support may never develop. Building his own world is another profound outcome of this solitary life. He creates meaning, joy, and purpose for himself. Hobbies, passions, and personal goals fill the void that might otherwise be occupied by dependency on others. In crafting his own path, he discovers fulfillment and independence. Beyond these lessons, additional key points further deepen his journey. Key point 9, mastering patience. Life teaches him that progress is slow and that every achievement requires effort and perseverance. He learns to wait, to endure, and to appreciate the process rather than rush toward outcomes. Key point 10, appreciating small joys. Solitude sharpens his ability to notice and cherish life's little pleasures. Simple moments, a quiet morning, a productive day, or completing a goal, become profound sources of happiness. Key point 11, developing mental toughness. Facing life alone strengthens his mind. He learns to confront challenges head-on, to endure discomfort, and to emerge resilient in the face of adversity. Key point 12, cultivating self-motivation. Without encouragement from others, he drives himself forward. His goals, Achievements and victories are self-earned, instilling discipline and ambition. Key point 13, freedom and solitude. Free from external expectations, he shapes life according to his own vision. Solitude allows him to pursue passions, take risks, and live authentically without compromise. In conclusion, a man living in silence without a girlfriend or support discovers the profound power of self-reliance. His life, though quiet and often unseen, becomes a testament to resilience, independence, and inner growth. Through patience, emotional discipline, and the courage to face life alone, he builds a meaningful existence defined not by companionship, but by the strength and depth he cultivates within himself. Solitude does not diminish him, it shapes him into a man capable of extraordinary endurance, wisdom, and self-discovery.